The Asag. Ninarda exploits, Aai Sud to Ninarda, C.1.6.2 Lord of Lofty Station, Foremost One, who presides over all lords from the throne dais, Ninarda, whose orders are unalterable, whose allotted fates are faithfully executed, my master. Heaven copulated with the verdant earth, Ninarda, she has borne him a warrior who knows no fear, the Asag, a child who sucked the power of milk without ever staying with a wet nurse, a foster child, O my master, knowing no father, a murderer from the mountains, a youth who has come forth from, whose face knows no shame, impudent of eye, an arrogant male Ninirsu, rejoicing in his stature. My hero, you who are like a bull, I will take my stand beside you. My master, who turns sympathetically towards his own city, who is effective in carrying out his mother wishes, it has sired offspring in the mountains, and spread its seeds far and wide. The plants have unanimously named it king over them, like a great wild bull, it tosses its horns amongst them. The Au, the Sakal, the Esi, the Yosium, the Kagina, and the heroic new stones, its warriors, constantly come raiding the cities. For them a shark's tooth has grown up in the mountains, it has stripped the trees. Before its might the gods of those cities bow towards it. My master, this same creature has erected a throne dais, it is not lying idle. Ninarda, Lord, it actually decides the land lawsuits, just as you do. Who can compass the Asaga dread glory? Who can counteract the severity of its frown? People are terrified, fear makes the flesh creep, their eyes are fixed upon it. My master, the mountains have taken their offerings to it. Ninarda exploits, Aai Sud to Ninarda, C.1.6.2 Hero. They have appealed to you, because of your father, son of Enlil, Lord, because of your superior strength they are looking to you here, since you are strong, my master, they are calling for your help, saying, Ninarda, that not a single warrior counts except for you. They wanted to advise you about. Hero, there have been consultations with a view to taking away your kingship. Ninarda, it is confident that it can lay hands on the powers received by you in the Abzu. Its face is deformed, its location is continually changing, day by day, the Asag adds territories to its domain. Ninarda exploits, Aai Sud to Ninarda, C.1.6.2 but you will force it into the shackles of the gods. You, antelope of heaven, must trample the mountains beneath your hooves, Ninarda, Lord, son of Enlil. Who has so far been able to resist its assault? The besetting Asag is beyond all control, its weight is too heavy. Rumors of its armies constantly arrive, before ever its soldiers are seen. This thin strength is massive, no weapon has been able to overturn it. Ninarda, neither the axe nor the all-powerful spear can penetrate its flesh, no warrior like it has ever been created against you. Lord, you who reach out towards the august divine powers, splendor, jewel of the gods, you bull with the features of a wild bull, with a prominent backbone, this fellow is clever. My Ninurta, whose form Enki contemplates with favor, my Udaulu, Lord, son of Enlil, what is to be done? Ninurta's exploits, Air to Ninurta, C.1.6.2. The hero Ninurta led the march through the rebel lands. He killed their messengers in the mountains, he crushed their cities, he smote their cowherds over the head like fluttering butterflies, he tied together their hands with hiron grass, so that they dashed their heads against walls. The lights of the mountains did not gleam in the distance any longer. People gasped for breath, those people were ill, they hugged themselves, they cursed the earth, they considered the day of the Asag's birth a day of disaster. The Lord caused bilious poison to run over the rebel lands. As he went the Gaul followed, anger filled his heart, and he rose like a river in spate and engulfed all the enemies. In his heart he beamed at his lion-headed weapon, as it flew up like a bird, trampling the mountains for him. It raised itself on its wings to take away prisoner the disobedient, it spun around the horizon of heaven to find out what was happening. Someone from afar came to meet it, brought news for the tireless one, the one who never rests, whose wings bear the deluge, the Ereur. What did it gather there for Lord Ninurta? It reported the deliberations of the mountains, it explained their intentions to Lord Ninurta, it outlined what people were saying about the Asag. Ninurta's exploits, Air to Ninurta, C.1.6.2. But Lord, do not venture again to a battle as terrible as that. Do not lift your arm to the smiting of weapons, to the festival of the young men, to Inanna's dance. Lord, do not go to such a great battle as this. Do not hurry, fix your feet on the ground. Ninurta, the Asag is waiting for you in the mountains. Hero who is so handsome in his crown, firstborn son whom Ninlil has decorated with numberless charms, good Lord, whom a princess bore to an An priest, hero who wears horns like the moon, who is long life for the king of the land, who opens the sky by great sublime strength, inundation who engulfs the banks, Ninurta, Lord, full of fearsomeness, who will hurry towards the mountains, proud hero without fellow, this time you will not equal the Asag. Ninurta, do not make your young men enter the mountains. Ninurta's exploits, Air to Ninurta, C.1.6.2. The Asag leapt up at the head of the battle. For a club it uprooted the sky, took it in its hand, like a snake it slid its head along the ground. It was a mad dog attacking to kill the helpless, dripping with sweat on its flanks. Like a wall collapsing, the Asag fell on Ninurta, the son of Enlil. Like an accursed storm, it howled in a raucous voice, like a gigantic snake, it roared at the land. It dried up the waters of the mountains, dragged away the tamarisks, tore the flesh of the earth and covered her with painful wounds. It set fire to the reed beds, bathed the sky in blood, turned it inside out, it dispersed the people there. At that moment, on that day, the fields became black scum, across the whole extent of the horizon, reddish like purple dye. Truly it was so. And was overwhelmed, crouched, wrung his hands against his stomach. Enlil groaned and hid himself in a corner. The Anuna flattened themselves against walls. The house was full of fearful sighing as of pigeons. The great mountain Enlil cried to Ninlil, Ninurta's exploits, Aar to Ninurta, C.1.6.2 My master, for you, Enlil has said, as the deluge, i.e. Ninurta, before whom the venom has piled up, attacks the enemy, let him take the Asag by the shoulder, let him pierce its liver, let my son enter with it into the Ekur. Then, Ninurta, to the limits of the earth my people will deservedly praise your power. You, Lord who trusts in the word of his father, do not tarry, great strength of Enlil. Storm of the rebel lands, who grinds the mountains like flour, Ninurta, Enlil seal bearer, go to it. Do not tarry. My master, the Asag has constructed a wall of stakes on an earthen rampart. The fortress is too high and cannot be reached, its fierceness does not diminish. 3 lines unclear, my master, Ninurta's exploits, Aar Sud to Ninurta, C.1.6.2 The Lord the Wind. In his battle he smote the mountains with a cudgel. The Aur made the storm wind rise to heaven, scattering the people, like it tore. Its spittle alone destroyed the townspeople. The destructive mace set fire to the mountains, the murderous weapon smashed skulls with its painful teeth, the club which tears out entrails piled up noses. The lance was stuck into the ground and the crevasses filled with blood. In the rebel lands dogs licked it up like milk. The enemy rose up, crying to wife and child, you did not lift your arms in prayer to Lord Ninurta. The weapon covered the mountains with dust, but did not shake the heart of the Asag. The Aur threw its arms around the neck of the Lord, Ninurta's exploits, Aar Sud to Ninurta, C.1.6.2 But the Lord howled at the mountains, could not withhold a roar. The hero did not address the rebel lands, he reversed the evil that it had done. He smashed the heads of all the enemies, he made the mountains weep. The Lord ranged about in all directions, like a soldier saying I will go on the rampage. Like a bird of prey the Asag looked up angrily from the mountains. He commanded the rebel lands to be silent and Ninurta approached the enemy and flattened him like a wave. The Asag's terrifying splendor was contained, it began to fade, it began to fade. It looked wonderingly upwards. Like water he agitated it, he scattered it into the mountains, like esparto grass he pulled it up, like esparto grass he ripped it up. Ninurta's splendor covered the land, he pounded the Asag like roasted barley, he its genitals, he piled it up like a heap of broken bricks, he heaped it up like flour, as a potter does with coals, he piled it up like stamped earth whose mud has been dredged. The hero had achieved his heart's desire. Ninurta, the Lord, the son of Enlil, began to calm down.